Hello. Welcome into the room. Hi, Lola Mastermind. Hi, Collective Joe. Oh, so many people rolling in so fast. If you all wouldn't mind, I'd love to have you put your name and if you're comfortable with putting where you're from, that's awesome. If not, just put your name and give me a wave so I can give you a shout out. Um, I'm going to let everybody kind of fill into the room before I start talking too much on a topic. But happy Wednesday, guys. We're right? It's Wednesday? Yeah. We're we're halfway through the week. So we're on the downward spiral of the week. So if you made it this far, then you can definitely make it through the rest of the week. But I'm going to wait a few more moments before I get started on the topic. Um, your energy should be used to serve others. Good point. We're going to get into that in just a minute, VWOC. But our topic for today came from a meme that I designed and I posted on Facebook today. And it said, I will not, three words affirming my decision not to invest my energy in things that do not serve me. And so basically, for me, that meant that I can always make the choice of where I want to invest my energy and where I choose to invest my energy. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where you're being pulled into an interaction, whether it's a debate or an argument or some type of distraction or even your own mental thoughts, where you find yourself being pulled into a moment where your energy is being shifted from positive energy to negative energy. So I wanted to talk today about how we can make the choice in that moment of how to make the higher choice for ourselves and to choose what we're going to do with our energy. Now, the first thing that came up for me was debates, right? Because we're on social media, like we're on social media right now, dialoguing with each other. And what we find is that a lot of times we can state how we feel about something, right? How many times have you stated how you feel about something? And then, of course, everyone in the world has a different perspective on how they see things. Now, some of us might have similar opinions, but we all see things from our own life experience. So it can be easy to state your opinion on something. Hi, Color Me Don. It can be easy to state your opinion on something and someone else come in and start to debate with you on your point that you just made. And so how many times have you been in that position where you say, "Hey, I feel this way about a particular topic," and then someone else comes in, maybe on your Facebook thread, maybe on your Twitter or your Instagram, and they start to debate with you on that topic, right? Well, I like a healthy debate because it gives me the opportunity to see other people's perspectives and to learn other people's perspectives. Thank you, Don, for inviting your followers. I appreciate that. And also, guys, if you're feeling what I'm saying, don't forget the hearts. I see Don has the chocolate hearts. Lucky you. I always love it when I get the chocolate hearts on a Periscope. But how many times have you stated how you felt about something and someone else has a different opinion and you're having a healthy discussion about it, right? And then the next thing you know, you're being pulled into an unhealthy debate. And then your energy begins to shift from something that was positive. You know, the first thing we feel is those signals in our body, right? We start to get tense. Our heartbeat might start to palpitate. You might start to get a little bit warm, and you can feel that shift happening in your body and in your energy when you're starting to go from a positive experience to that negative energy building up in your body over just a simple exchange with someone. So, a debate is something that can trigger um that shift from positive energy to negative energy in a heartbeat. Something else that can trigger that is when we're talking with someone, and we all know that at least that one person who knows how to pull us into an argument. It might be your significant other. It might be your sibling, a brother or a sister. It could be someone at your job that knows how to pull you into an argument quick. They know what to say to trigger you and get you into an arguing space. That's something else that can trigger us so quickly to go from a positive space to a negative space when it comes to our energy. Something else that can come along and that can shift us is a lot of times we can be so focused on our work. Like, say we're doing a task. I know for me, a lot of times I can be working on a blog post, or I can be working on writing a book, or I can be working on a project, and the next thing I know, the phone rings and someone calls, and they start talking about something that is significant. Then the next thing you know, we're going down a rabbit trail, right? Of we're going down a rabbit trail, and they're totally taking me off focus of my work and what I intend to be doing. So that's something else that can take us off focus. So in those moments, whether it's a debate, whether it's an argument, whether it's a distraction, we always have the choice of how we're going to manage our energy. We're always in control. A lot of times people will say, hi, Vivian, I saw you come into the room. A lot of times people will say, oh my gosh, look what you made me do. Look how you made me feel, or look how you piss me off or whatever. But the truth is that we're always in control of our energy. We always make the choice to make that shift from positive energy to negative energy. That's always a choice. Now, sometimes it's not always a conscious choice. Sometimes before we know it, we've shifted over into that energy and we're not even conscious of it. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, is becoming more conscious of how we can manage that energy. And being the body relationship coach, what I love is that our body is always signaling to us about the things that are going on in our lives. So like I mentioned earlier, you can be in a healthy conversation with someone or a healthy debate with someone over a topic, and then the next thing you know, you start to feel yourself tense up. So if you can think right now of some of the familiar feelings that you felt when something goes from a conversation to an argument or to something negative, and we all experience something different. Sometimes, certain people start to get a headache. Some people, their heart starts to beat faster. They get warmer. We all have our different signals, but I want to challenge you to pay attention to those signals that your body sends to you, and allow them to direct you as to when you're starting to make that shift, so that you can make the choice. We can always choose how we're going to invest our energy. And I know for me, when those feelings start to come up, I actually have to pause. And sometimes I have to say out loud, I will not. Because whether it's for me to hear it in my own ear, whether it's for the other person to hear it, I have to speak it out and say, I will not. In this moment, I don't have the energy to do this. I can make the choice in that moment and say, I'm going to go ahead and stop the conversation right here. Or you can say, I'm going to stop the interaction right here. Because this isn't healthy for anyone involved, or either one of us. That's a conscious choice that you can make to manage your energy, because you know what? You only have so much energy in a day to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. And a lot of times we find ourselves not being successful or not accomplishing things because we're using up our energy with those negative energy distractions, debates, arguments, distractions, even our own thoughts sometimes come up and distract us from being in that positive space. Think of how many times you've started out a day and the day is going great. Like you wake up, you feel awesome, you feel great, you're in a good space. Your thoughts are clear. Maybe you started the day with yoga or meditation or prayer or whatever your start is, and then you go outside and you get in the car and maybe something happens with the car. Maybe the car doesn't start. I've been there before. And in that moment, you have to make the conscious choice of, you know what? I will not be sucked into a negative energy. I have to pause for the cause and say everything's going to be okay. And then you make the choice of how you're going to approach that particular situation. And it happens. I'm going to tell you all, it happened to me this weekend when I was traveling. And I'll just share, I was traveling to Philadelphia for a yoga workshop. And I had taken transportation. I had taken the bus to get there. And I get there, I took the yoga, I leave the yoga workshop, and I go to wait for my bus to come back to the DMV area. And I realized that I had left my wallet and my cell phone and my important things all in a bag at the yoga studio. And I was using public transportation, so I was using a cab and everything. So now I have no phone to call anyone. I had no wallet to even pay for a cab if I wanted to get a cab. So in that moment, I had to just, I'm telling you all, I had to pause and say, everything will be okay. And make the choice, what do I do now? It was the perfect opportunity for me to flip off and get angry or cry or be overwhelmed. And not that any of those not that any of those choices would have been necessarily bad, but I want to use my energy to always be making the higher choice for me. I want to use my energy to be a better me. I don't want to continually be in this cycle of, year after year, month after month, or day after day, never really evolving into the person that I want to become. And I could have used that energy to sit down and cry and get frustrated and take 20 minutes to be, whatever. But I really did pause and only take a few seconds to breathe and say, okay, what do I do now? And from there, I was at the bus station, so I went to the customer service desk, and I have to stop and say that it's solvable. I'm okay. Exactly, Dawn. Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I went to the customer service desk and I asked them, could I use the phone? And they were so friendly and they said yes. And I called my family and they were able to get the yoga studio and to call them and to tell them what was going on. And do you know what happened? The yoga teacher drove my stuff to the station for me. She was so sweet and supportive, and she drove it right over there to me so that I could get it just in time before my bus came. I got on my bus on time. I wasn't late. Everything worked out. Just like Dawn said, everything was solvable. But that was all about how I channeled my energy. And things don't always work out like that. I know. I've been in those situations where everything doesn't work out packaged how we want to. But yes, like you said, Jamie, things always work out. Whether they work out how we think they should or not, the end result is always for our good. So that's how we can always have a positive perspective, by knowing, that's how we can manage our energy, knowing that no matter how this is going to work out, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. It might not feel good in that moment, but in the end, it's going to be okay. So when you get in that moment where you're debating or you're arguing, or there's a distraction from you trying to do your work, or you started out with a positive day and now you're overwhelmed with thoughts of sadness, or maybe self-loathing, or even body hate or body judgment, or anything that could come up to shift you from that positive space to a negative energy space, remember that you always have the choice. In any given moment, we can always shift our energy. And one of the great ways to do that is just to pause and breathe. How many times do we forget the power of breathing? As long as we're alive, we can always pause to breathe. It's always our choice. And in that moment, when we take a breath, we can refocus on the fact that we're alive, we're okay, what we need, believe that what we need is around us. This, the provisions that we need are already there. And in that moment, just pause to ask creator or universe, where do I go from now? And the answers will come to you. The answers will come to you in any given situation. But what I want to remind you all, if you don't take anything else from this cast, remember that we always can choose how to manage our energy. No one else is in control of our energy but us. If we feel anything, it's because we're reacting to other people, but we're making the choice to react. We can always choose how we want to react. We can always choose how we want to invest our energy. And as long as we take that control of our energy, then we can control what happens in our own lives. And we don't have to feel like we're going around being victims of life or victims of other people's energy or victims of other people's choices. In any given moment, we're always in control. Thank you all so much for being here. Does anybody have any questions before I go, or anything that you'd like to share with me? Okay. If not, remember today, and I know this always happens when I say these things, those tests come, or invitation to practice, should I say. The invitation to practice will come. So whether it's today or tomorrow or next week, remember, when that invitation to practice this lesson comes, remember that you can make the choice. Thank you all so much for being here. Much love.